Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Pitstop podcast. I'm Jaco van der Merwe, joined by Shell Bosch and Mark Jones. Gentlemen, this week the updated or the new updated Renault Kiger. Of course, one of Renault's best sellers, along with the Quid and the Triber. So, Shell, you drove it a little bit there down in the Cape.
Yep.
What's changed? What's it like?
Well, they've changed the face of the car. It's got a brand new frontal design in line with Renault's styling language, taken from the Triber, taken from the Duster and the.
But that's quite nice looking.
Capture. Yeah, it's great looking. It looks a lot better than the pre-facelift one. As you said, it's one of Renault's most important vehicles in that segment. And they've changed that. They've made some subtle changes to the back of the rear fascia. Small changes inside, and they've also changed the trim level denominators. So the old Life and Zen and Intense are gone, and it's now replaced by the Techno, the Evolution, and the Iconic, in line with Renault's naming strategy. And initially, we call it what you like if you don't. We have only the normally aspirated 1-litre petrol engine. The 1-litre turbo only arrives next year, so both those engines are unchanged. 52 kilowatts, 96 newton meters of torque, and then the turbo, the figures weren't revealed, but you can assume it's got the same 70 kilowatts, 160 newton meters with the manual gearbox, and 152 with the CVT, which arrives next year in the Techno trim level only. Sorry,
pricing
Iconic.
starts at?
Pricing starts at 219,900.
219.
Yeah, for the entry level. I think it's the Techno. Starts at that for the manual version.
Mark, it's pretty much like we're always saying, Suzuki territory. That starting just over 200 there, heavily in the 200s, going up to 300s, which we normally say is kind of Japanese proof, or it has been up until now. It shares a platform than the Renault Kiger with the Nissan Magnite.
Yes.
And Nissan Magnite's had a price drop recently.
Yes.
So, I can't say it's a wake-up call, but they're very much aware that that's their area and they need to establish themselves even better before the Chinese start bringing in those little compact SUVs.
Well, exactly. I think under 300 grand is the magic number in this segment. I mean, those that have a little sort of above entry level job can maybe stretch a 220 grand car, 240 grand car. Looks kind of cool. I mean, it does have that whole SUV crossover feel to it. It's positioned right in there with the price drops. It's highly competitive. And make no mistake, it has been Suzuki's territory, and that's why they are number 2 in the country. I mean, they sell a lot of cars in the lower price brackets. The Chinese win, and they are going to come there, without a doubt. They're going to start to play there more and more. I mean, we saw us overseas. There's a Tigo 2.
Yes.
Tiny little car, but it's left-hand drive for now. But the next generation, which is coming soon, is going to be global. You better believe, when the Chinese arrive in this segment, like in every other segment they've arrived in, they're going to put a car in market that's going to viciously attack in that segment, which I feel for Suzuki, because they're kind of a legacy brand doing so well, and they're just under attack constantly.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned with Renault, they've been very dependent on those 3 models over the last few years. Quid, Triber, Kiger, but you said at launch, they said this is a very important model for them.
This is very, very important for them. That's where they make up the bulk of their money, if you can put it that way. And, we as I said, with the turbo version only coming next year, the normally aspirated one, surprisingly, makes up a fair bit of the overall sales. That's why they launched it first and only waiting until next year to bring the turbo variant. So it doesn't set the world alight at all.
Well, I was going to ask $1 million question or 219,000 rand question.
Yeah.
I drove the Triber.
Yeah.
And for all its positives,
also down at the coast, though.
Yeah.
Correct. And same engine, 7-seater, new styling, so cut and paste.
Yeah.
But I came away from the drive rather not thrilled. I can only assume that the Kiger is no different. It presents well.
Yes.
It's priced well. It has some features. I mean, let's be honest, it's why it sells well. But it sells on price because I'm not convinced of the drive.
No, it wasn't. It was. I'm trying to not be rude here or anything, but it's got that same dead spot as you have in the Triber and the Quid. The moment you shift, I mean, it revs so high. Just to move it, you have to rev it over 4,000 RPM, and the moment you shift gear, it just goes forward and it lumps back. And it rides decently, but it's just the disjoint between the engine and the drive and the transmission is just. It's
before we get too
unpleasant.
picky there, I mean, in that little price bracket, around 200, a 1 litre naturally aspirated is basically on all of them.
It is, but you've got
I
the
mean, you
added
got
weight.
the Suzuki Swift starting with a 1.2, which is a bit higher up.
Yes.
But I mean, that 1 litre is.
Yeah, but there's the added weight because we all know that Swift weighs absolutely nothing, whereas the Kiger has got the weight. I mean, it weighs over a ton, where the Swift is, correct me if I'm wrong, just under a ton. And other cars and the other Suzuki Ignis, and you can go a bit further, and even the new Tatas are under that. So the Kiger, it does struggle a little bit. I think the best option will be to wait for the turbo variant to arrive. But then again, that's going to be only available on the top of the range model, unlike in India.
And probably over 300.
Probably,
Just under.
Wasn't the Magnite over 400 at some stage?
it was until they lowered the pricing down considerably.
Yeah, because see, that's not going to work presenting that product at over 400.
No, but the thing is, the Magnite is available over a broader. You can have the turbo over a broader range of trim levels. It's not so with the Kiger because Renault, the Nissan Renault alliance thing, the Renault is pitched as a more sort of almost premium product, if you can put it that way.
More French. More European, although it's not.
Although it's got absolutely nothing European at all.
Indian built.
Never seen France in its life.
Never ever. Not even. It was in fact. It's got styling from the Capture, but it's full on Indian produced, made in the same factory in Chennai as the Triber and the Quid and the Magnite. So it's sluggish, that engine setup. So. Yeah, but like I said, if they had to introduce the turbo version over a broader range, then it will be okay. But they're not. They're only going to be available in the top range model.
Yeah, but we've also said this. I mean, affordable mobility, that's the other thing.
Yeah. What about price?
Yes.
We've just, you said it, it's a volume seller.
Yeah.
It's in that Suzuki sweet spot where Suzuki does so well. It's Chinese proof at the moment. I think, so that onslaught's still coming. I reckon the average person who walks in it's got 4 wheels, 4 doors, looks pretty cool. I've only got 219 grand. That's my Ferrari money. And they buy that car.
Yeah.
It's bought on price. And for them, that horrible, and we spoiled, we drive good cars. That horrible dead spot, they learn to live with it very quickly.
Yeah.
That, you must remember, the alternative to that, I think a lot of the times at a 220 grand price point, the alternative is public transport, i.e. taxis, or catching a lift or whatever, or some Skoda car in your driveway.
Yeah.
When you got your new car and that 219 grand is all you can afford, and that, I always say, that's your Ferrari. It's why it does so well. We nitpick because that's our job.
Yeah.
But it's that bottom line price that does get those units moved.
And Renault are open about it. They did say that the entry-level version is the mobility solution,
exactly.
and then the mid-range version is sort of what they call an aspirational variant. And then
So imagine if the turbo comes at another 30 grand. Then it's beyond aspirational in that segment.
Yes.
You're now sort of going to a guy that has to spend that sort of money. Now he starts to look at the Chinese cars, looks at Tigos and whatever.
Yes.
So I think Renault's scared to play up there. They're playing in the right place.
They are.
No, exactly. That's all from us for this week about the Renault Kiger. I don't know if Mark's going to test one at Gerotech when we get it.
That's going to be
that looks
if I can grow this thing for Movember and walk around looking like this, why can't I test the Kiger? I mean, let's go the whole way.
There's the
Why
answer.
not?
There's the answer. Tune in with us
test it.
after he comes back from Gerotech with that. Anyway, don't miss that episode. It's bound to be a highlight of 2025. But thank you very much for tuning in this week and listening to the Pitstop podcast. Cheers.